Bill,
stuff.
you can't
Yes,
pretend to have a standard of decency that you don't employ on the president. I know, but you only don't do comparison when it's to Donald Trump. The idea that you or Scott Jennings have your panties in a bunch over what Ossoff said about a woman connected to the president, when this man does nothing but denigrate women for sport on a regular basis.
Whataboutism.
Welcome to Political Crossfire. We break down the fiercest political debates and examine the facts behind the headlines. Chris Cuomo and Bill O'Reilly are back at it on NewsNation. And this one gets spicy fast. The argument starts with Jon Ossoff, Natalie Harp, and whether personal attacks cross the line. But Cuomo quickly turns the whole conversation into a much bigger challenge about Donald Trump, hypocrisy, and political double standards. O'Reilly says Cuomo is engaging in whataboutism. Cuomo says no, he's simply asking Bill to apply the same moral standard to Trump that he applies to Democrats. And then Cuomo brings up Trump's attacks on women, reporters, and even the old Barack Obama birther controversy, putting O'Reilly in a very uncomfortable spot. Before we begin, subscribe to Political Crossfire and turn on the notification bell. Let's get into it.
Now, you teased Ossoff. I want to get to that.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
So
you said you'd rather vote for Putin.
I would.
You would vote for Vladimir Putin, who is a murderer. You would vote for a murderer over a U.S. senator.
Well, when you frame it that way, I might stay home.
Yeah, probably a good call, Bill.
Okay. Ossoff goes out there and number one says, Trump, this is Trump's war. He lied about it, but doesn't say what the lies are. I'd like to know what the lies are because I don't know what
they were in imminent threat of getting something, that it would be over in a couple of weeks. That's all. Go ahead.
Okay. Maybe that's a miscalculation. It's not a lie. A lie is when you wake up in the morning saying, I'm going to deceive everybody for my own gain.
Okay.
That's what a lie is. And then Ossoff attacks Natalie Harp. Now, I know Natalie Harp. And there is nobody that I know who works harder for this country. She's always on call. Okay? She is a decent human being. And I can attest to that. Why would you do that? Why would you impugn this woman's character in a cheap gutter snipe way? So Ossoff is a gutter snipe. That's who he is. And the people of Georgia should know because character counts. You know?
Bill, the man he said it about.
What?
And you're going to say, I don't do that. I know, but you only don't do comparison when it's to Donald Trump. The idea that you or Scott Jennings have your panties in a bunch over what Ossoff said about a woman connected to the president, when this man does nothing but denigrate women for sport on a regular basis.
Whataboutism.
Bill, yeah, because it matters.
It doesn't matter.
If you're going to say you don't like Ossoff talking about Natalie Harp, well, by the way, I'm not endorsing going after anybody. I'm just saying it's a little rich, Bill.
This is
fifth
grade stuff.
No, it's not fifth grade.
This is fifth grade
Bill,
stuff.
you can't pretend to have a standard of decency that you don't employ on the president. You can't do that. It's hypocritical.
Button it for a minute. This is going to help your career. We're not talking about Trump and Trump's insults.
Go ahead.
We're talking about a senator from Georgia and his insults.
Yeah.
You deflect into whataboutism.
Yes.
That's fifth grade.
No, it's not. If you're going to be upset about what he said, then you need to employ that standard against the president of the United States because that is nothing compared to what the president says for sport, and you say nothing. You say, that's Trump being Trump. Well, this is Ossoff being Ossoff.
That's not true.
Love him or hate him.
That's, again, you don't know what you're talking about. I've criticized Donald Trump many times for these ridiculous arguments and insults that lead nowhere. And anybody who watches the No Spin News or sees my commentary knows that.
You were just, you were just using me as a Democrat. You were helping my career by calling me a Democratic spokesperson on your show yesterday.
I'm helping your career.
Donald Trump, he doesn't like him like all Democrats. Like I'm a Democrat. If I'm a Democrat,
I don't care whether you like him or not.
Then you're a Republican. Well, you said it on your show. That's all I'm saying.
I don't care whether you like him or not. What I want you to stop is the whataboutism.
No.
It is not.
No, comparison matters. If you're going to apply a moral standard or a character standard to one side, apply it to both. That's all I'm saying. You can call it whatever you want.
Each situation is different. This woman is innocent. And did you see the news cycle today? That's all you saw.
That's because you guys won't stop talking about it because you think it's going to help you put down Ossoff.
You guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys.
I'll just point out that when Barack Obama was accused of being born in Kenya, I broke the story about the 2 newspapers in Honolulu that had the birth announcement.
Remind me, who was front running that BS? Remind me, who was it? Anybody?
I don't know who it was. I did my job.
I forgot. It was Donald Trump that was front running that BS. See what I'm saying?
He doesn't run my operation.
Yeah, but you should call it out. You're going to say you broke the story. You went after the BS. There's the captain of the BS team. So why don't you call him out? That's all I'm saying.
I do. You don't follow it. You don't know. You just don't know.
Okay, well, I look forward to it because he just attacked Kristen Holmes, who is a great reporter, and said horrible things about her. I don't remember you saying anything about it, do you?
Yeah, I said today, why are you bothering with this stuff?
Oh, that's it? Because that's what you say about Ossoff. You didn't say, John, why are you bothering about who he's on the plane with? You're calling him a gutter snipe and saying that this is an innocent. Kristen Holmes is an innocent. Snipe. So then so is the president of the United States.
No, he's attacking a woman. He's attacking a woman who doesn't deserve to be attacked.
And the president does that all the time.
You can make an argument that the press... So what? We're talking about Natalie Harp and a senator from Georgia.
If it's wrong for Jon Ossoff to say it, then it is wrong when the president says it, and he does it all the time, and it doesn't matter to you the way it does now. That's all I'm saying. Look, I got to go. Dusty is yelling at me.
It's right.
Dusty is yelling at me. I'm just saying.
Dusty, tell him to stop the whataboutism, all right?
Okay. Bill,
thank you.
Take care.
Hugh, Chris Cuomo, and Bill O'Reilly really went at it on this one. And underneath all the jokes, interruptions, and back and forth, there was actually a serious question sitting at the center of this NewsNation debate. When does a political comparison become whataboutism, and when is it simply a test of whether somebody is applying the same standard consistently? Bill O'Reilly's argument was that Jon Ossoff crossed a line by attacking Natalie Harp, and O'Reilly clearly believed character mattered in that situation. Fair enough. But Cuomo's response was basically, if character matters here, then why should Donald Trump be judged differently when Trump insults women, reporters, or political opponents? That is where this argument gets interesting. Because Cuomo was not really saying, Trump does it too, so Ossoff gets a pass. He was saying, if you believe the behavior is wrong, then condemn it consistently. And that is an important distinction. O'Reilly kept trying to narrow the conversation back to Ossoff and Natalie Harp, while Cuomo kept widening it back out to Trump, presidential conduct, and whether conservatives sometimes use a different level of outrage depending on who is doing the attacking. Then Cuomo brought up the Barack Obama birther controversy. O'Reilly's defense was that he reported the facts and challenged the false story. But Cuomo immediately pushed the next question: who was one of the biggest political figures promoting that story in the first place? Donald Trump. And once again, Cuomo's point was less about relitigating birtherism and more about accountability. If you are willing to call one politician a gutter snipe for attacking somebody's character, what language do you use when a president repeatedly does something similar? That is the consistency test. Now, O'Reilly does have a legitimate response available here. Different situations can absolutely deserve different judgments. Context matters, intent matters, the specific language matters. But if that is the defense, then you have to explain why the situations are meaningfully different. Simply saying, we're talking about Ossoff, not Trump, does not fully answer Cuomo's challenge. And there is another layer here too. The President of the United States has far more influence than almost any senator or candidate. It is not really about Natalie Harp. It is not really about Jon Ossoff. And it is not even entirely about Donald Trump. It is about whether our political standards survive when they become inconvenient for our own side. Because if the exact same behavior suddenly looks acceptable when your preferred politician does it, then the principle was probably never very strong to begin with. So now I want to hear from you. Was Chris Cuomo exposing a genuine double standard in Bill O'Reilly's defense of Donald Trump? What do you think? Share your opinion below and subscribe to Political Crossfire for more political debates and analysis.